she left me for some time, and she's like, you have to talk to me. And I didn't want to talk to her. So they went with the doctors. I don't know what they discussed. Then some relatives that day came, and didn't want to talk to anybody. Like, I was very upset.
You're just not in the mood.
And she said, no, Nsofwa is angry with me because of the lumbar puncture, which didn't work out, but she's going to do it again. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it again. Yes, you are, because you have to get better. If you want to get better, you have to do it. And I'm like, why do I have such a mother? Like, really? And I sat there. So the following morning, another doctor came, Dr. Chipoya, and he was very nice and tried to calm me down. He told me how it's not going to pain. If it pained, he was going to buy me a teddy bear or something like that. He tried to sweet talk me, whatever he said. But anyway, so he took me to the lab and he told me not to. Remember, the first one I had to sit in a certain position.
Yeah.
But just the way I'm sitting is how the lumbar puncture was done. And mom told me, she was standing in front of me, told me to hold her shoulders and not to fidget and just to concentrate on her, whatever it took. I was not supposed to listen. So, and he said, I'm coming in, and the prick came, and it was done. He got whatever liquid, and when the liquid was done, it was yellow. I don't know, yellow like a banana. It was very yellow, and just by the color, he could tell it was bacterial meningitis. I think it's called Cryptococcus now in the doctor world. And so they know how to put. So I said, okay, so is that all? So what now? No, so for us to clear now this infection, you have to be put on medication. Now that's where the drama started, because now the medication wasn't as nice as the injection. I don't know, but meningitis, nobody should get through meningitis. So I started my treatment, and the first day it was not good because the medicine could make me shiver. And this is October, and you know, October in Zambia is very hot.
So basically, October, like,
it's
the
like
weather
our summer.
here, the weather here is the opposite of the weather in Halifax. So when it's getting cold in Halifax, it's getting hot in Zambia, basically.
Yeah. So I was there sitting, and the next thing, they put the drip on me, and my hand first starts to swell. The next thing, the medicine is not going through because my hand is swollen, and you know, you can't have a drip if your hand is swollen.
Yeah,
it doesn't work. So that was day 1. Day 2, but luckily we managed, and it had to be one nice thing about that drip, it's called amphotericin B. You have to cover it. You have to cover the drip because it doesn't need light, and it needs to be warm. Like, it needs to be covered or something like that. So we used to cover it. It had a dress. Mom and I used to call it a dress. The drip that has a dress. And we used to and every morning, like, would pray, because my drip used to come at 8.
Yeah.
It was just a drip a day. So it's supposed to last you for 6 to 8 hours. And on the 5th day of my drip, I was sitting on my bed, proud of myself. It was the 25th of November. I was sitting on my bed, proud of myself, and I'm talking, Mom, I don't remember where she had gone. I think she wasn't around. She had traveled, I think. She had gone with, I think, Auntie Beatrice to South Africa?
Yeah.
So they were there, and there I was, sitting on the bed, waiting for my drip. They put my drip on me. I think it was on this hand, actually. And around 10 o'clock, and at that time, because of the time I collapsed, my ear wasn't good. I wasn't hearing very well. So my right ear was deaf. So then I'm sitting there, I just see like a black, you know, where you, like somebody just, like an eclipse, the light just goes dark. I'm like, why are you turning off the lights? Like, what's going on? Why is it dark? And I was with Mami. So Mami goes, what do you mean I'm a light bashimia? Like, why are the lights on? What do you mean the lights have gone off? I'm like, I can't see. It's dark. What do you mean you can't see? I sat there, thought to myself, I'm like, this is not right. why can't I see? And then, you know, I could tell people were walking up and down, but I couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And the next thing, I couldn't hear. And now I panicked.
Yeah.
I started to scream and just shout. They tried to call the doctors. Nothing. I think that's the time my mommy called uncle. And uncle had to tell mom that I couldn't see.
Yeah.
She called me. I was just there crying. I didn't want to listen to whatever she was saying. She tried to reason with me. Nothing. That evening, I remember Uncle Chris, Uncle Bieda, Uncle Mumba, Uncle Wanga came, and they didn't understand what the doctor was saying. Grandma was trying to understand. Like, nobody was understanding what was going on.
Yeah.
It was so devastating on everyone. I remember,
everyone, like, it was devastating for Nsofwa, it was devastating
for everyone. Like, nobody understood what just
everyone.
happened. And then the thing is, like, you can see my eyes did look dead.
Yeah.
They still look okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't understand what was going on, and the doctors said the optic nerve had collapsed. So there I was sitting,
And like, since it was an optic nerve, it wasn't even one of those things
It
where she
wasn't
can have an
reversible.
operation
No.
to get a new set of eyes. Like,
No.
optic, like, once the optic nerve is done,
It's done.
It's done. Like, that's it. There's
Yeah.
no turning back.
so I had now to accept that I was blind. Whatever I took, mom was supposed to come in 2 or 3 days later, but the following day she was back in Zambia. And I never saw mom cry, not in my presence, not once.
Oh, but
That-
she was crying.
Yeah, she was crying.
She was crying. She's a crybaby. She is crying.
She was crying, but not in my presence. And then Christmas. That Christmas, I remember we had a
No,
Christmas.
first of all, you fast forwarded now. Now there's my part now.
Oh yeah.
Because this whole period, like I told you from the last time I heard, is from the first time she got sick. So that's the last thing I was told from Nsofwa. And it was the end of year. I didn't come with the school bus. My parents actually came to pick me up from school. And like, the ride home, it's a whole 5-hour ride, sometimes 4 with my dad's crazy driving. So we're driving home, and I remember I was talking to them. I talked to them about the whole school year and everything, and I was actually even asking them about everyone at home. And I even said, oh, how's Nsofwa? You guys haven't given me an update. Is she okay? And they're like, yeah, she's fine, she's at home, you'll find her, everyone is at home, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we finally pull up to the house, and like, I'm so excited. I want to see everyone. So I saw Mwamba first. He hugged me and everything, and then I saw Chikwanda. She hugged me and everything, and I'm like, where's Nsofwa? You know? And they're like, oh, she's coming, she's in the bedroom. And like, I'm waiting, and it was taking a pretty long damn time, and I'm like, is she in the bathroom? No, let me go to her. Like, no, wait for her, she'll come. And I'm like, okay. And I swear to God, I just saw this skeleton with skin.
Okay.
That's legit how she was looking, you guys. Like, skeleton dressed with skin. Not even like flesh, no. Skeleton dressed with skin. Coming, and she's walking with Vanalista. And I'm not understanding why she's walking with Vanalista. And I'm like, hi, Nsofwa. And like, she puts her arms out to hug me, but she's not facing me. And I'm just like,
What's going on?
what the hell is going on? Like, literally, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then, who said it? Was it
Chikwanda.
you? Chikwanda was like, Mwila Nsofwa can't see. I think I walked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked out. Like, I literally just walked out of the house. I walked out of the house. I don't know who came to follow me, but literally I just walked out of the house, and like, I stood outside, and like, I think I cried a bit, but I didn't want to cry in front of her. But like, I cried a bit, and then I went inside, and then that's when I hugged her. And I think I cried when I hugged you. Like, I just, like, because for me, what really hurt me and what pissed me off is that I had
Nobody
a
said
whole
anything.
car ride with my parents, and no one told me anything. Like, literally no one told me anything. And like, by the time I was getting home from school, I think it was even 3 weeks. 3 weeks had passed since she had lost her sight. So a whole 3 weeks, people were talking to me no one could tell me this important information. Like, this is a life-changing
situation.
And I don't know if they thought I was 13 at the time, so I guess I was young, but I wasn't super young. And like, for my age, I was pretty advanced because I had older siblings and I was always around my older siblings, so like I basically matured pretty quickly for my age. So like, it just did not make sense to me. I was actually, like, that holiday, I was actually very upset. I think that's the emotion I can say I was. Like, I was very upset. I wasn't really hostile, but like, I was very upset, and like, I didn't know how to adjust to the situation, especially with the fact that like, Nsofwa and I would go for walks. Like, Nsofwa and I used to do so much to get, like, wow, like that period when I was in grade 7 and like she came back from boarding school. Nsofwa and I used to do so many things. Like, we'd go for walks, like we'd go for movies. Like, Nsofwa and I did so much, and then to come and like, we can't, not that we can't do it anymore, but like,
It's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same. Like, I'll have to help her now. Like, I'd have to describe things to her that I'm seeing, because obviously she can't see, so I was her eyes. Like, it was
frustrating.
It was frustrating. Like, it was actually a very, very frustrating holiday. And like, I didn't even know how to tell my friends, because my friends obviously knew Nsofwa, because my family, she stayed with me, so obviously they knew about her. And like, she'd also even talk to them. Like, she'd talk to my friends, and like, where they'd even be like, oh, say hi to Nsofwa, say hi to Nsofwa. So I was just like, how am I now going to be like,
say hi to Nsofwa?
Nsofwa can't see anymore. Like, I didn't even know. I think honestly it took me a while to tell people that you were blind. I think I only started telling people that Nsofwa was blind
grade 10, something like that.
Yeah, grade 10. Honestly, yeah, when I was in grade 10 is when I really used to open up and talk about Nsofwa, because like, people would talk, like, ask me about Nsofwa, and I would pretend like, oh yeah, we actually, like, acting as if everything was normal and cool in the hood. But like, it was hard. I think the only friend who knew was Natasha, because of church. I think Tasha was the only friend of mine who knew that like, Nsofwa was actually blind. But like, my other friends, it took me a while. Like, even bringing friends home, I never even used to bring friends home. Like, I didn't know. Like, I just didn't know how to deal with this situation, because I think for them they would also be shocked, because they knew,
Yeah.
she could see. So,
And I think for me, on that one, I think I really thank God for the friends I had, who I was with at school.
yeah, you had really
Because
good friends.
Me,
None of them, my friends. I know my friends. They had to be blind. If I had to become blind,
none of them, like, even in the times I was in hospital, starting from my teachers actually,
yeah,
they always used to come every day.
like, she actually got so.
I would even have
much
sometimes some
support.
friends would come and just visit me. So when I came out of hospital, I remember this day, they surprised me. There was this new student, and then I think was Roshana. So he came, and he heard so much about me, and they bought me a big cake and some flowers. And one of my friends came with his mom, because he had told her about what they were planning and how they would want me to be part of the graduation and things like that. That was, I think, the following year, because we were sitting there, and first of all, he came as I thought he came alone.
Yeah.
So when he came, he was like, "Hi, I want us to sit in the main sitting room."
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
So
I think I was around for that.
Yeah. So I was sitting in the main sitting room, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, we are not just the two of us." And I'm like, "What?" And I've been talking all this time.
Yeah, I remember.
And he says, "People." Then they started mentioning their names, and the whole class was there, and I was so excited. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't see them, but I think they could tell the excitement in me.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And I think our relationship has not changed in the way that it has been, because they made me believe that I haven't changed. I'm still the same person.
You're still the same person. Like, yeah.
Like, because, I can't see them.
Like, yeah, you can't see them, but really nothing has changed.
Yeah, we're still the same. Like, we're still together. So, yeah, flashback. Let's go back. So I was about to tell you about Christmas. So I spent Christmas in hospital, because what happened, I came out of hospital, I think, a week before Mwii closed school.
Yeah.
so I started going to hospital every Friday. I'd go to the hospital so that I finished my treatment. So that year, Christmas was on a Friday.
Yeah.
So Mom and I suggested, because there's a friend of Uncle who brings some gifts, like he would bring different stuff.
Yeah.
So that year he brought some different biscuits and crisps.
And like it was a lot.
And
like
it was a lot.
It was excessive. Like the house,
Yeah.
like it was probably gonna last us for months.
Yeah.
So we're like, you know what? Let's give
We
back.
came up with Mom and I came up with an idea. Instead of sitting in the hospital like spending Christmas
like sad
this,
and everything.
yeah,
Or
we
like
give out
everyone
some-
will come and we'll like literally give out to people in the hospital.
In the
because
hospital,
there were
yeah.
a lot of like the UTH always has patients.
Yeah.
Like all year round. There's never a time where
there's no patience.
there's no such thing. So for sure, and around Christmas time as well, like there were actually like that year there were just so many
babies.
there were actually
yeah.
so many little babies. Like it was
a bad Christmas.
It was actually an emotional Christmas.
It
Not
was.
really a bad Christmas.
A sad
but, like,
Christmas, maybe.
Yeah, a sad Christmas. Because I even remember when we were going through, what ward were we going to? We were going to a different ward, and there were like these mothers with babies, and like there weren't enough beds. So like, and that's the problem with UTHs have problems with like not having enough beds and too many people being sent there. So like I remember we went to this ward and like there were particularly not enough beds, and like I remember there was this like one bed that was covered, and I remember my sister Kuni like holding me as we're passing it, and I'm like, what's wrong? And then she's like, no, that's a dead body. And I'm like, huh? And she's like, no, that's a dead body. And like that was kind of, I think that was like our first time really seeing
or coming across somebody
a dead body before. So it was really like, it was like, oh my god. Like then we knew we're like, okay, we're around sick people. I think like that's when it hit. It's like, okay, we're around sick people and Nsofwa is sick and this is the situation. But it was just one of those things, you know what? You have to woman up and tough along and just give out the biscuits. But yeah, because I remember Kay couldn't handle it. Kay was just crying all over the place. Like our cousin Kay was just, she couldn't deal. Like she was just emotional. And like I remember Mom even shouted at us, you can't be emotional. Like oh, you can't be emotional. You have to be strong. How do you think Nsofwa's feeling? And it's like, okay. And like whenever, like literally for like the next 2 years, it was always consider how Nsofwa was feeling.
Yeah.
Literally everything was consider how Nsofwa is feeling.
So yeah, so Christmas, I remember New Year I spent it home. We had a party.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the house. I didn't really want to come out because I was a bit ashamed of my body weight. And then Mom didn't want me to just sit in my room, so I think that was the time, I think the 2nd of January, because I used to have my lunch and supper in my room.
Yeah.
So then I started sitting in the main sitting room so I could eat with everybody. And I remember Uncle Mumba's excitement when he saw me at the table.
Yeah, he was so
welcome
happy.
back, and he was so excited, and it was so fun. And the following week, she went looking for a school for me for the blind. And she comes and she was so excited. Guess what? You can go back to school. So I said, really? Why? Yeah. You mean King's Highway? She's like, no, you can't go back to the same school you were at. I said, why? Because you can't see now. So I said, okay, but can't they teach me? Don't blind people go to school? She says, yes, they do, but they don't go to a school like that. You need to learn Braille. I'm like, and what is that? Dots. That just the way that blind people read. I'm like, okay. So then she said, I found a school for you. It's in Chilenge. There's a place called Chilenge here. So we went there. She went there first, and she was given directions. So the first library we went to was not the one. It's called a library. It's called the Zambia Library Culture and Skills Center for the Visually Impaired. So we went to a library, not for the visually impaired, but for the sighted, and she was excited. So we went there. Like, is this a library for the blind? And she was like, and she was avoiding to use the word blind. Yeah, she was like, she's giving them signs, and then like, no, it's not that one, you have to go the other way. Okay, so that's why we went there. They gave us some forms which we had to fill. The doctor also had to sign that we to verify that I was actually blind
Yeah.
on the way. And she was like, I wish God can just answer my prayers, if you can just like see what's going on, how things have changed. And so I remember telling her, you know what, Mom, at least I'm still alive, because I would have died and today he'd have been telling a different story.
Yeah.
And she was so touched with my answer, because I'm sure she was thinking I've also given up and things like that. And I started going to the library there. I started learning Braille. My first experience with Braille was not nice. So I was sitting there and I'm given this writing pad and the stylus and the paper, and they're like, you have to learn it. I'm like, so what do I do with this? Like, you have to write dots. So I'm like, okay. And then what? Like, so I write. So, you know, when I was learning in nursery, the way we used to write, for you to know how to write your name, you use dots. So you write the letter N in dots forms, and then you follow the line. So for me, that was what was going through my mind. That's what I was supposed to be writing.
Yeah.
And then they gave me this pad and the stylus, and I'm like, I have to press the dots that are in there. And I'm like, I think I'm not ready for this. At that point, I was like, okay, yeah, I want to leave, but I'm not ready for this. And that day was very frustrating. I was very frustrated, and I was told I needed to be going there Tuesday and Thursday. I started going there, I think the first 3 weeks, that was, I think on the 11th of January is when I started going there. The first 3 weeks were bad, like very, very bad. Then I met my favorite teacher, Mr. Chileshe, who came, Chomba. He came to teach me, and he volunteered just to teach me.
Yeah.
And in a month time, I had caught up with the alphabet in Braille. And now I was learning the words, and I would write sentences, he would give me exams. By April, I was done with Braille, and he was very amazed with how quick I was trying to read and things like that. Sometimes he'd even come home to teach me on a Sunday. He also made me realize that there's actually life after blindness. And he has what do you call that? Short sight. He has partial blindness. So he can see in the day, but he can't see in the night. So if the darkness comes up, he can't see. So I remember there was a time Mom couldn't pick me up, and he used to stay around near where I was staying, and Mom couldn't pick me up, so he had to bring me home. And it was late. I think it was almost getting dark. I remember us bumping into something, and I'm like, you're gonna make me fall, I can't see. And like, but I also can't see. So it's like the blind leading the blind, and I'm like, okay, these are the worst moments of my life. Like, I never want to go through this. And I was very angry with my mom, like, why didn't you just pick me up? And I complained. But then I liked it, because we learned one or two things. There are situations where you're not going to be with mom, but you need to learn how to survive on your own. And sometimes we'll take risks. Wallace at school would go and buy food outside, and we can't cross the road, and we're like, okay, what are we going to do now? And then I'll try and raise my walking cane, and he'll be like, don't do that, you're making me blind. I'm like, but you are blind. And then cross over and things like that. Sometimes I met another friend of mine. Her name is Nandi. She actually is a risk taker, because what she did, I wouldn't do. She took a bike. I'm like, oh, and where are you going with the bike? I can ride a bike. I'm like, you're blind. Yes, who said a blind person can't? I'm like, no. You don't know where you're going. You can't just ride a bike. She didn't even go far. Where did she get? Into a tree, and she falls. And she pops, and she was seriously laughing. And I'm like, is that what you call fun? I don't want to hit myself. So we have such crazy people in the blind world. And I was like, okay, if she can, okay, no, I wouldn't get on a bike, but if she can do it, I can also take certain risks. And we started interacting, and I became very close with the community, the blind community. I heard different stories. I got inspired by many. I got different views from them. Then I had to move now and go to an actual school, an inclusive school, and that's where my problem started, because when I was sighted, I could take subjects like accounts, chemistry, physics, mathematics. And now that I can't see, I can't take those subjects. I was very depressed. I said, okay, yeah, I wasn't very good at maths, but I loved accounts. Like, it was one of my favorite subjects. It's one of the subjects I never failed. And I come and I'm being told you can't take it. I was not impressed. So I learned there. I finished my secondary school, went to Chainama. I wanted to be a counselor because of how I lost my sight and everything. And from my situation from the library and Monali and even just how I lost my sight, I felt my voice was needed. Like somebody needed to hear me out. So I took up a course, a counseling course, and I realized we have a lot of mental issues. Not only those with disabilities, but everyone has a mental problem. And there's no one to talk to.
Yeah.
Because counseling lately, especially in my country, I don't know about other countries,
Sucks,
and it's only related to people living with HIV.
Yeah.
It's like it's a medical condition. But then we forget that we have a lot of problems. We have relationship problems, we have marriage problems, we have father and daughter misunderstandings, we have mother and daughter all those need to be talked about. But I don't think anybody talks about that. So all that for me is what I thought I wanted to do, is what I wanted to do. And also with the fact that I wanted to change the fact that yes, I'm HIV positive, so what? I love the fact that yes, I am HIV positive. But if I was told earlier, today my story would have been a different story. Maybe I was going to lose my sight. But because nobody talked to me about it, and by the time I was finding out, it was too late. And mom also tried to talk to me about it, but maybe as a child she didn't know how to talk to me. So I started talking about rights and human rights in terms of areas of education and health, and how can we help people understand that HIV is just a condition. In the same way, make them realize that this person is just disabled but is not enabled. So I tried to work for different organizations. I worked for an organization called Latkings, which helped me talk about, I told my story the first time I think I went publicly was on the World AIDS Day on the 1st of December 2014. It was exciting. I was a bit nervous. I was with my friend Musamba there. We took a march past and it was so fun, and I remember enjoying my meal, and yeah, I got to meet some of my old friends there that I was going to the hospital with, and some of them I was told I had passed on, and I'm like, so I'd have also died. And it was so exciting. They were so excited to see me because last they saw me I was as tiny as an ant, and here I am, very big like an elephant, and they were so excited. So the next movement I started doing is just working with NGOs to learn how to work with people who are living with HIV, and how do we engage people with disabilities. So I noticed one thing: most of these programs do not cater for people with disabilities, because this person only is a disability, how are we going to help them? So we needed to work and improve that. And also my friends also told me about the challenges they faced at the schools they were at, where they were just blind students and how the teachers would treat them. I started feeling very bad about it, and I felt that wasn't supposed to be the case. So in 2015, I was given an award on Women's Day for the most inspirational youth. Yeah, and 2016, I got a job with an organization called Center for Infectious Disease Research in Zambia, CIDES, which deals with HIV, and we were having a test and treat campaign. So we're testing and treating people with those that were in HIV. So immediately you're found with the infection of the HIV infection, you were put on treatments. And it was so nice. I had fun. I met new friends. I met my boyfriend then, yeah, and it was fun. Oh, by the way, I've never dated a blind guy, but yeah, it was fun. And then what happened? 27, the same year I applied to be there's a fellowship called the Mandela Washington Fellowship, which was which came up by an initiative by the former South African president Madiba Mandela and I think President Obama. So they train young leaders in areas of civic leadership, entrepreneurship, and public relations. So I was selected as a civic leader, and I went to I went to Pittsburgh, where I met another friend of mine, Joe, and came up with what I'm now doing, which is what we're calling the positive movement, where we're now trying to create a more inclusive society for people that are living with both disabilities and those that are living with HIV. So it's not been easy. It's been a long run. And I've met new friends, I've met old friends, I've got back to my normal life, and it hasn't been as easy. The movement is really just to promote inclusiveness, because I believe, yes, I have a disability. My family doesn't treat me different because I have a disability. I'm still the same person. No, we don't.
She's still the same crazy Nsofwa.
Yeah, and when I'm wrong, they'll yell at me. When I'm being silly, they'll shout at me. When I'm doing right, they'll correct me. Yeah. Things like that. So for me, I feel that's what I would like to see for other people as well.
And like also, cause like in the beginning, I do remember Nsofwa wasn't having the greatest time. Obviously, I mean, you've been seeing for 17 years of your life, and then all of a sudden you can't see, like, you know. So I mean, in the beginning, she actually was not as positive as she is now. Like in the beginning, like I think she was even suicidal at some point.
Yeah,
she was, and I mean, that also kind of made it hard. And I think also we were a bit naive, because naive in the sense that we kept on, I remember like every single day our prayer was Nsofwa should see again.
You should start saying, yeah.
That was literally all prayer. And I think it also just used to frustrate her, because she was already told that there was nothing that was gonna happen, you know. And like, I know we can believe in miracles, and you were Christian by faith, but like, we can believe in miracles, but I mean, those miracles in the Bible were when Jesus was around, and clearly Jesus isn't here today. I mean, he's up there, but like, he's not physically here to like come and also touch her eyes and then she can see, or she can't go and dip herself in water and then she can see, you know. So I guess it used to frustrate her, but like she said, she did have a turning point where she was just like, you know what, this is who I am, this is what's happened in my life, it's happened, it's done, but I now need to live.
Yeah,
because I think for about a period of maybe I can say 4 or 6 months, she really wasn't living, like, because she was just at home and just eating and just in the bedroom with my grandma, like would literally read the Bible all day, essentially.
Yeah,
that was all that was going on.
That's another thing, because I think even God sometimes allows certain things to happen. I think God looks at our strengths, and he knows who can handle certain things.
Because I feel like, because like, I mean, we asked this the other day, and she was like, she'd rather be deaf, but I feel like you probably wouldn't have handled it.
Exactly.
I don't think you would have. Like, I don't know. I don't know if like it's wrong to say this disability fits you, but like it kind of does. Like, she's basically still the same busybody. It's just that she's a bit limited.
Yeah,
like just a bit. Nsofwa can still do everything that she probably would have done if she could see.
Yeah,
but it's just that she's limited to the point where obviously she can't see, so she needs the assistance. But she traveled freaking Washington DC
alone
by herself.
Like,
by herself. None of like my family members came with her. Like, she literally just went with her group of people that she was going with, and she lived there, and she's back, and she survived. She went to South Africa, like, and like, it's one of those things where all her life her aunt had been wanting her to go to the US to live with her, and like so many years when she could see, she would have gone, and like it was just a no-go area, and here she is blind, and she went there by herself. She never even went to like see. Did you even see your aunt?
No, I didn't meet her, but I managed to meet.
You managed to talk to her.
Yeah,
but like,
we talked on phone.
Yeah, you talked on the phone, but like it's not like she even went to see her, you know. So it's one of those things like God works in mysterious ways. Like,
yeah, and again, I think for me, even my disability, I think came at the right time, because I wonder how life would have been if I was still able to see, and where I would have been. Some of the things I know,
like, I feel like you would have probably, I don't even, first of all, like, did you even know what you wanted to do after school?
Yeah, I wanted to be an accountant.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be an accountant, but that wasn't my calling. I don't think that's what God wanted me to do.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't have worked out.
No, that wouldn't have worked out, because then maybe whatever I'm doing is what was supposed to be what I'm supposed to be doing.
Why is this girl for some baguettes?
Yeah.
So that's your problem.
Just fine.
No, like
I'm really itching to talk.
Okay, sister, wait. Let us finish first. We then wrap it up. I think this is time. So
yeah, so that's that. So I'm running an organization called the Positive Movement, where we're trying to promote an inclusive society.
Their YouTube channel is actually going to be coming soon. It's in the works. We're working on it. So you guys should look out for Positive Movement. When it's up and ready, I will post it up on my channel. We'll probably do a second video talking about it.
Yeah.
But I will definitely post up on my channel. You guys should follow it. It's a great organization
that we would like you to be part of.
Yeah, that we would like you to be part of. You don't have to be blind to be a part of it. Like, no. The fact is, the mission statement, the
vision is
the vision.
We're trying to promote an inclusive society.
Yeah, so basically we just want, and not just, it cannot just be Zambia, it has to be everywhere else pretty much. Basically just to be able to be inclusive, like to be able to live amongst people with disabilities, and they also have the same meaningful life as someone who's able, like me. Because essentially I can say that Nsofwa and I have the same quality of life. But realistically, that's just because of our household and how we're raised and the people who take care of us. But outside of our house, not a lot of people who are blind have the same life that Nsofwa is living. Like, there's so many blind people around who are on the streets, not able. They don't even, like,
some of them don't even know that they even have there's education.
Yeah, like they don't even know that they can still get an education in spite of them being blind. Like, and even like the education system for blind people isn't that great too, because Nsofwa's results for a certain course that she took went missing. So things like that needs to come to a stop, and that's what Positive Movement is trying to do. So Nsofwa, it was lovely having you here.
Thank you, Mwii.
It was nice having you talk and tell your story to my Just Fam and YouTube and the whole world. We look forward to having you back on the channel.
Okay.
She might be doing my makeup in the next video. We'll see what will happen and how that will turn out. That will be a very interesting video. So I'll definitely help her, obviously, but I won't help her like do everything. I'll just be like, okay, now you're using this brush and we're doing foundation or something like that. But so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and also to the Positive Movement channel, because I think by the time this video is going up, the channel will be up as well. So you should subscribe to Positive Movement, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.